what did you come in struggling with, and then how did hypnosis help you?
So I came in struggling with anxiety, and I had been in a relationship that ended with somebody that I cared very, very much about, and it was really hard for me to let go and accept the reality of the situation. So I started to do some research and find ways that can help my subconscious and my conscious communicate with each other to help understand and believe the reality in front of me. And so I was somewhat hesitant because I thought hypnosis was just a place where you're in a trance and you're like laying there and they're just telling you to bark like a dog, but it wasn't like that at all. It was very calming. And for the first time in a long time, when I would get into hypnosis, I would be so calm that everything else around the world was just filtered out. And what was able to happen with your hypnosis is I was able to see myself in three-dimensional in my mind and see different outcomes, see the reality, go back to times that I didn't even know existed or even remember, and see them like you're standing outside the situation looking in, but you're really there. And so you're like kind of like playing a movie in your head. And the thing is, it's not a pre-scripted movie. It's a movie that you can change what happens and how you see it in your subconscious. So by going to places in my childhood that left me feeling unprotected, I was able to see that little boy that wasn't protected and sit down and have a talk with him and tell him about life. And I was able to put a force field of protection around him. And then by doing that, that changed every other situation after that where I felt that I wasn't protected, because the first time I didn't feel protected, I went back and I was protected. So that kind of changed that pattern in me of not feeling safe in situations.
And so, what was the most surprising thing that you got out of hypnosis?
That I could actually see myself in three-dimensional like that. Like I could actually go back to those moments and really be there in the moment. But being there in the moment allowed me to write that moment with my own narrative. Like I could change the script of my own movie. And by doing that, it really just changed my perception of so many things in life that caused me to trigger my anxiety. And after three, I think four sessions of going back and seeing myself and my subconscious differently, my anxiety went from a 10 down to like a 1. And what that did was it took all of those moments that trigger that anxiety in me, and it allowed my subconscious to rewrite the narrative of exactly what happened and tell myself that even though in that moment I didn't feel safe, that I was safe in the world and that you can create your own safety.
And so, how has your relationships changed since our work together?
So I've been able to have a healthy relationship without feeling attached and feeling the need for any kind of validation from anybody. I learned how to feel safe in my own skin. So moving forward in relationships, I'm able to not worry and not feel like I had to control the narrative all the time. Like I learned to trust in my worth as a person, and knowing that in a relationship, knowing that if my worth isn't good enough for somebody else, that's not my problem. So now that I know what my worth is, it doesn't make me cocky, it makes me confident.
hmm
So in doing so, I've learned how to put up boundaries, and I've learned how to realize that I don't need anybody in my life. If I meet somebody and I want to be with somebody, then I want to be with them and I will. But that feeling that you need somebody, or that if you lose them, your whole world's going to come to an end, whether or not you lose somebody is completely out of your control. The best thing you can do is love yourself, put up your own boundaries, know what your worth is. And those are the three main things that this hypnosis has helped me with.
And so, what kind of boundaries do you have now that you didn't have before using hypnosis?
Well, considering I had gotten out of a relationship with none, having some boundaries, I'd have to think about that for a moment. But the boundaries of not holding on so tight and trusting, like, okay, here's a basic boundary. If you're going to commit to me, then I'm going to trust you that you're committed to me, and I'm not going to follow your every move and look for any inconsistency to find out if you're lying to me. The boundary is you're going to be honest with me, and if I find out you're not honest with me, then this relationship no longer works.
And so, how does it feel to be able to notice the red flags and you're like, well, got to cut it off. I really like you, but you're crossing some lines here, and that's not okay with me. And so how does that feel compared to when we first started working together?
Oh wow, Jerissa, night and day, night and day. I have no problems in a relationship of telling somebody, look, these are my reasonable boundaries, and if that doesn't work for you, no hard feelings, but I'm not going down this road. And that's empowering. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel in control because I can't control the relationship and I can't control the person, but I can control myself.
And so, how do you see yourself now that we have done this work together? So now that you're someone that's more in control, you have better boundaries, like what kind of man does this make you now?
Oh, Jerissa, so many things have changed for me in my life since this. My business is doing better. Finances have gotten better. I've explored some of my spirituality and the laws of attraction. And this whole process with this hypnosis and learning about myself has opened up a whole new world for me. And I feel so much different than the person that I was when I first came in for hypnosis. And it's not an overnight instant fix, but when you do these sessions and you do the work, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have triggers, but slowly your mind will remember and you can reprogram. And I believe we've done a few maintenance since those, which has really helped. And staying on direction, staying on point, just so much in my life has changed. I can't even describe how much happier I am. So many more doors are opening up for me in life. I'm not experiencing the chaos anymore. I'm not experiencing anxiety. I'm not depressed. You know, I've gone off all the depression medications, all the anxiety medications. And I feel more in the moment now with when I'm interacting with people and I'm having conversations with people. And when my family are around and we're having dinner, my mind is there. My thoughts are there. I just feel more present.
And so I have one more question, which would be that if you could give anybody some advice about their hypnosis process, they're like, I'm hearing what you're saying, like maybe I'm still a little bit hesitant. Like, what would your advice be?
To trust the process because it really works and understanding that there is a huge difference between your consciousness and your subconsciousness and realizing that they actually can talk to each other in real time. And by trusting the process and doing the work, it will help you. It absolutely will help you. But you have to be ready for it. You have to want it. You have to be to a point to where I've hit a block. I've done traditional therapy. I've done medication. Nothing's getting me past this block. When you're ready to get past this block, just trust it.